Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Coaches Hour. Lovely to see you all. So today we've got no pre-submitted questions, but it would be good just to chat with everyone and see where they're at with training, how they're feeling, and maybe if you need any inspiration or just advice, what's next. This week's podcast episode is about post-marathon blues. So that might be a good one for some people. So does anyone as well, it'd be nice to hear from people and their experiences on their recent races, because even this week I've been catching up with a few clients on the phone and their marathons were 2-3 weeks ago and we haven't spoken on the phone since. So it's been nice to hear about that. So I'm opening up the floor now. Does anyone want to share their recent experiences at their races as well? Like Vanessa's got Edinburgh in a few weeks, so I'm sure she'd like some marathon motivation thrown her way.
Yes, please.
Well, everyone's been through it now, so we can definitely throw all of the advice. So yeah, does anyone want to share their recent experiences?
Well, one thing
Go on, Faith.
Yeah, it's one thing I was just going to say was that just through listening to the podcasts and tuning into Coaches Hour and this, that and the other, and you're talking through things, I did feel like mentally really, really well prepared. And, like nothing was a surprise. And, I remember you saying things like when you turn the corner, Tower Bridge comes up really fast. And so I was kind of expecting that, and it did. And I stopped and took a selfie, which I would never have been able to do. And and I just felt that that was quite a big thing. All the nutrition was fine, and it was all exciting and new first time, but there was nothing that threw me at all. So pass on that. That's one thing I say to other people who are doing things. Just tune into the experiences and the chat, because it makes such a difference. And I think Katie, I think you're just very good when you talk through things at sort of expanding it to kind of the spectrum of what people's experience might be, which is really helpful, because you can gauge yourself sort of as a novice, but you can kind of learn from the experience in the same conversation. So I'll give you that feedback. I think you do that particularly well.
Oh, thank you. I've got goosebumps. But no, it's the reason why I do this is because I was the same. I had a call earlier with a lady, and she started running in lockdown, and she said, I couldn't even run, to the end of the street. And I was like, that's exactly how I started. I wasn't a natural runner at all. And yeah, sometimes James coming from the background that he does, this is not anything against him, but he grew up with running. He, used to go to track sessions as a junior and did all these like cross-country races, and he loves like listening to elites and finding how they train. So I think that James and I bring this really good spectrum to it, that because I basically, where a lot of people are within the Running Hub community, I was there at one point. So I have to just go back a few stages in my journey just to share that. And I've had very positive experiences. Everyone knows how much. I had a lot of feedback from the call that we did in London Week about how passionate I was about it. But that is just because I love London, and I also had a really good first experience. I just want to pass that on. So no, that means a lot, Faith.
Yeah.
So thank you. So yeah, how was your day, and kind of how are you feeling now post-event?
I just was talking about it before people came on call, but just to finish, let others have a go. My day was amazing. I had planned to do a bit of run walk, to do just 2 minutes walk every half an hour, because that's how I trained, and I don't know the value of 2 minutes walk, but I felt that was going to be good. But in the end, I just ran, and was very conscious of pacing myself early on. So I had a very even pace. And some people even commented that I was faster in the second half than the first half, only marginally.
Don't tell James.
That's really cool. And it was just so it was wonderful. It was a really amazing day. It was I have to say, the taper bit beforehand was really hard, where you just feel you're not doing anything useful. And it's not that I was passionate to run, I was just kind of everyone tells me this is what you do, I hope they're right, and I guess that proved that it was right. So yeah, had an amazing day, and it's so exciting to do something that everybody recognizes. You know, I mean, I've done lots of things in my career, and you know, and it's all great, but nobody really knows kind of whether, you know, you did that just by circumstance, or people knew you, or, you know, because of that company or something. But when you do the marathon on your own, everyone knows what a challenge it is. It's a very exciting thing to achieve.
Yeah, amazing. Wonderful. That's so good. Thanks for sharing your experience. And yeah, how are you feeling now after London?
Yeah, yes, fine. I mean, I actually had no problems at all. All my toes are intact and everything was fine. Just a bit tired the day after, which I took off, but then I was back at work the day after and just totally normal, going up and down stairs and everything. And now I've tuned in for just inspiration to pick up the chat again, because I've done do a park run, but I've done nothing else, not even a squat since then. So, and I'm just conscious that I don't want to lose kind of everything that I gained. So yeah.
Oh no, thank you. So yeah, hopefully people can share now maybe what they've done and what they're up to, and you can take inspiration. But also, yeah, I had a chat with someone earlier and they were like, what should I be doing? Like, tell me what to do, Katie. And I'm like, well, can't really do that, because also James and I were talking about this earlier, is that when you do the next thing, you've got to be passionate about it. Just because someone else is doing something, you can't do it. You've got to be excited by that next challenge or goal. So, you know, I can't say, right, Faith, you should do this. You have to kind of be directed in a way that feels right and aligned for you and what you want to next achieve. So there's never a right way, but also maybe think about what you want to achieve. A lot what we're doing at the moment is talking with people what they want to achieve in the next 3, 6 or 12 months. And then maybe you want to achieve in the next year, that then has an impact what you do now. So yeah, just have a listen in and see if you get any influence.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, for those that have just joined us, we're just we haven't got any particular questions that have been put forward today, so we're just kind of chatting and recapping the start of the year and talking about what we're doing next. So is there anyone that wants to talk about their spring block and then maybe what they're doing or what they've got planned for the rest of the year? Any takers?
I'll
I
go
don't
if
mind
no-
sharing. Oh, sorry. No,
No,
you
go
go.
on,
That's
no,
fine.
Natasha, you go and then I'll go after you.
Okay, perfect. Obviously, yeah, first marathon for me, London Marathon, nearly, what is it, 2.5 weeks ago? I can't believe it. It feels like it was yesterday, and then also feels like it was 100 years ago. But yeah, it was incredible as well. And again, I kind of echo what Faith just said in terms of feeling like so prepared. I actually feel a bit bad because I had a couple of friends who were kind of outside of the hub that also did the marathon, and they both said that they got like the worst blisters they've ever had in their entire marathon. And I only didn't because of kind of being in the hub and like people saying, oh, make sure, like, you know, like you Vaseline your feet when it rains, or put Glide on your feet when it rains, because you'll blister and chafe in places you've never done before. And I didn't get a single blister. So thanks for that, everyone. Whoever recommended that in the chat, you saved me. But yeah, so just things like that. But I suppose my kind of experience maybe slightly differs to Faith, is although I kind of felt prepared, as in like I knew what was coming, I don't know what happened, like on the day, my mind just, I lost my mind, basically. I think the nerves, I've never experienced anything like it. And I've done a lot of like performing in my kind of past, you know, like singing, dancing, acting and stuff, like on stage. I've done like a bit of TV work, you know, like stuff that is quite nerve-wracking. And I honestly, like London Marathon, I've never felt so nervous in my life. And it was like I had to literally just talk to myself the whole way, just saying like, get a grip, calm down, it's just a run, you're fine, stop being nervous. And yeah, I had like a few times where I was like, I feel really sick. And I think I was just so overexcited. I think it was overexcitement and nerves, but I don't actually know what I was nervous about. It wasn't like I was like speaking in front of 40,000 people. I was just running alongside them. Yeah, it was a really strange, kind of bizarre experience, the whole nerves thing. But yeah, it was still like an amazing day. But if I could kind of go back and do it again, then I would have just had a word with myself and not been so nervous, because I think I would have found it a bit more of a easier experience maybe. But it was absolutely amazing. I was gobsmacked by the crowds. I honestly could not believe the amount of people that were there, like in the pouring rain as well. I just thought, oh, when, like, as soon as it started raining the second I set foot into like the the start points. And I just thought, oh, such a shame, because everyone says, oh, you need the crowds, like, they keep you going. And I just thought, oh, people aren't gonna hang around. And I honestly couldn't believe it, like from mile one. The amount of people that were just out, it was just, actually, it made me super, super like emotional. Yeah, Faith, like, there wasn't even in patches, it was just like constant people. And it was just, yeah, it's like people at their best, isn't it? Like, people just supporting complete strangers. And yeah, but since like finishing, to kind of go back to what's next, I don't really know what's next, actually. I can't really make up my mind. I have signed up to do the 5K, like, Bessie or 5K time 8-week program, which I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, I don't actually I don't really feel lost. I kind of just feel very relieved that I managed to do the marathon, because I'm not sure I actually ever believed I could do it. And yeah, I think, I don't know, I have like a 2-year-old who keeps me incredibly busy, and a very busy job and stuff, and kind of also wanting to owe a bit of time back to my husband. So yeah, I thought I would be like, have the kind of real post-marathon blues, but I don't really. I just feel really happy that I did it, and so relieved that I did it, and really chuffed with, raising lots of money for charity. And yeah, I've just waffled for God knows how many minutes, so I'm talking now.
No, that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing your experience, Natasha. And you raise an incredible amount of money for charity. So
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Really couldn't believe it.
I'm pleased as well that you're embracing the post-marathon recovery, and yeah, just enjoying time with your family, owing back some hours to your husband. Although it sounds like it's an amazing support. So
yeah, 100%. One thing, just really quickly, I have to mention, because I have never heard of this before, and maybe no one else has ever heard of this before, but if it ever happens to you, then just know that it's a thing. I had the worst, weirdest post-marathon, like, bodily symptoms. And yes, I had my legs were a bit achy the next day, totally expected. Second day, they felt pretty much fine. I had the roof of my mouth felt like someone had poured acid into my mouth for about a week. And the pain got so bad by, I think, the Wednesday, I actually had to contact the doctor, because I couldn't cope with the pain. And like, I've been through childbirth, like I'd like to think that my pain threshold is reasonable, but no, evidently with this, not so much. And speaking to the doctor, he was like, yeah, it is a thing with like endurance runners, and it's to do with like just the intense, obviously I breathe very heavily through my mouth, but like the intense sucking like in and out of air. Yeah, and I had to go on like really strong painkillers. I've never had to be on strong painkillers before in my life. And yeah, I honestly, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, which is of course the two things that you want to do after running a marathon. And really strange. And it's my mouth.
So do you think that that's got anything to do with your immune system suddenly being very depleted as well?
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but I mean, it was literally instant. It was when I went back to my mum's after running the marathon and ordered pizza, which that was all I was dreaming of. And it was like the first couple of mouthfuls of the pizza, straight away I was like, oh, the roof of my mouth feels really sore. That's so strange. What is that about? And I just kind of thought maybe like, I don't know, nervous system's on overdrive or something, and just everything's a bit, everything just hurt. So maybe it's just that, and I'll be fine tomorrow. And then on the Monday, it was again when I ate. It was just when I ate that it just really hurt. So I was really cheesed off, to be honest, because I had booked the day off work, and I basically planned to sit on the sofa while my son went to nursery and eat. And I couldn't, because every time I tried, it just really hurt. And then by the Tuesday, it was just like I woke up and it was just constant pain. And then by Wednesday, I was literally delirious with pain. Like my husband went to like go into London to work, and I just like broke down. I was like, don't leave me. I can't deal with this pain. I don't know what to do. I was a bit dramatic, but yeah. And so I had to call the doctor. And then the painkillers that he prescribed me, my pharmacist couldn't get in until the afternoon. So I had to go the whole day. And then the drugs made me very high. So I was like I was in fairyland on Wednesday night, and then woke up with a blinding headache on Thursday, realized I couldn't take those painkillers anymore because I was not present. And then kind of I think it was like by Friday morning it started to feel a little bit better. But yeah, and as I say, the doctor was like, it genuinely, he's heard of it before. It's not overly common, but yeah, I just wanted to highlight it because I'd never ever heard of it being a thing. But just Googling it, like running forums and stuff, people have like commented on it. Most people said it went away after 2 to 3 days. For me, it was probably about 8 or 9. But yeah, I just wanted to mention it. It's very odd. I'm not a normal person generally, so I'm not really surprised that I had like a abnormal, weird post-marathon symptom. But yeah, just putting it out. It is a thing.
Well, thanks for that. I don't think personally I've heard of it, but we've now added it to our repertoire and expertise.
There we go.
If anyone's had it, it's all just for the experience bank. So thank you very much for that. Amazing, cool. Anyone else want to share their spring experiences? Oh, it was Julie, you gonna...
Yeah, I don't mind. So I took part in London in October. So having done that, I swore to myself that I wasn't going to run a marathon this year. So I did the Cambridge Half in March, which I really enjoyed. It wasn't my quickest by a long way, but it was one of my favourite races. Lynn and I started together and finished together, and we had a really good time. But when you haven't got a marathon on the horizon, you need to find other things to keep you motivated and to keep you interested and keep you going out the door. Otherwise it's very easy to just not. So I decided that, so mistakenly, I didn't think I had ever raced a 10K. So I said to Katie, maybe we'll spend a little bit of time working up to a 10K race, with the idea of then doing a half in September, and then we'll see what next year brings. But I was reminded by a friend that actually in 2011, she and I did the Manchester 10K together. So I thought, I wonder if the results are still available. Well, that was a big mistake. So I went Googling and found the results from that race. And actually did much better than I anticipated. So all the ideas I had of running my first 10K this summer and it being a PB regardless, because I'd never raced that distance before. Yeah, that's all gone out the window now. So so now I'm going to have to be a little bit more focused and a little bit less blasé about the fact that it's going to be a PB anyway. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a 10K in July. I'm going to do the big half in September. And then Katie, you were saying that you shouldn't do things just because friends are signing up to them. Does that mean that I don't have to do Manchester next year just because Lynn is?
Yeah.
It was her fault. It was her fault. She messaged and said, shall we? And I'm so easily led. I just said, yeah, let's do it.
Put a camera on now. She means business. Come on, Lynn.
You didn't take that much persuading, I don't think.
No.
No, from the sounds of it, she didn't, Lynn. I think it was a few messages back and forth and she was convinced.
It wasn't even a few. It was, are you going to do it? Yes, okay then. It really didn't take much persuasion.
It was like that after the Milton Keynes Marathon. We went to I can't remember what it's even called now, but the pub afterwards, and everyone was like, Coach, I think I've got something else to tell you. Everyone was persuading everyone to do, and I was like having to wag my finger like, well, you guys like inspiring in the corner over there. What is everyone making people saying, oh, I'll do this with you if you do it, and I'll pace you if you want to do that. And I'm like, hold on everyone, what's going on? But I think the main I don't want to give too much of the podcast from Friday away yet, because I've only just edited it this evening. But one of the things I did say is that you have to enjoy the process as well. And Julie and I speak about this a lot because I know that Julie enjoys it. But you have to, whatever you're doing next, you have to enjoy the process. Because yes, we put a big thing on the race that it is, but sometimes the race just goes to shit, if I'm being honest. Like the race sometimes doesn't come off the way that you want to, and that, you know, sometimes as a female, hormones get in the way, or you know, you've had a bad night's sleep, or sometimes you just have a run where you can't even explain why it went that way. So for me, a big part of it is also the process. So you have to enjoy the style of training that you're doing on the lead up to that event. So if you like, you know, ultra training, and you like the fact that you get to walk and run and eat, have a picnic in your pocket, and you enjoy that, then great. You can't just book an ultra because it's a massive achievement and it's the next step up from a marathon, because you've also got to enjoy the training. Because I speak to people that sign up for a marathon and then they don't actually want to do the long runs, and it's like, well, actually you don't just do the day. I mean, some people can just turn up and wing it and do it, and you know, can just go and rock up and do the marathon. It might hurt a lot and they might be painful, but there's no point signing up to something if you're not going to enjoy the journey to get there. So yeah, hopefully, Faith, that gives you a bit of inspiration for you to think, you know, what style of training would you like to do next, and what do you want to include within your training weeks? Or
yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that, with the marathon. I mean, having, and what you're saying before, just having a goal was so motivating to do everything leading up to it. But I was doing it partly so that I would just understand better what it means to exercise properly. And, you know, and I was so motivated that I never was like, do I have to do a run? You know, just, I really enjoyed it all, but I would have enjoyed it all as much if I hadn't even done the marathon, I think, you know. So I totally agree with what you're saying.
yeah, and that's it with the training plan. It's not that you have to do the training plan, but you get to do the training plan. You get to train for it because that's what you've chosen to do and that's what you want to do. So I tried to tell myself that on a day where I'm not feeling as tired, don't want to go out for a run. It's like, no, I don't have to go out for a run. I choose to go for a run. Even if I'm not feeling it, I choose to go because I'm doing it for my future self or things like that. So
I think that's one of the reasons why sort of being part of this community is so important as well, because I did have the odd morning where I woke up and thought, oh my gosh, I could just not do this. And then chat in the WhatsApp would start about someone's just finished their long run or just setting off for their long run, or someone did their long run yesterday. And it just, that kind of thought of, I don't want to do this, is like, no, I do want to do this because these guys are doing it and everyone's smashing it. And, I want to do it. And it sort of just really, really helps, I think, to have that community rather than just, just the weekly calls, for example, is maybe not going to help you on, 5 days later when you wake up and they're like, oh gosh, it's raining outside, or, it's been raining, it's really muddy. So it just having that focus is, and just that support network just really, really helped me get through, every part of the training plan, really.
No, that's again, you lot are gonna like make me cry tonight. It's been very positive, very nice.
Yeah, but also that makes you do crazy stuff, right? They never assign for something again. Oh, do I fancy doing something else? Okay, what do I sign up for next? It's
Well, the amount of people that we've spoken to in the last couple of days that have signed up for the Big Heart just because everyone's been talking about it in the chat, it's been unbelievable. So
I
yeah,
haven't yet actually. But
Sabrina, I signed up to the 10K in London only because I saw your name on the list.
I've
That was
had
the only
it.
reason I chose that race.
Yeah, that would be nice.
we're all bad influences. I've been telling people about that because a few people locally have been talking about Northampton as well, and I'm like, well, there's another one in London. Is this the one that is that
Yeah.
the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been suggesting that to some people as well. So yeah, we're all bad influences on each other.
Even my
Right.
husband's been like influenced like by it. I was telling him when Pedro and Sadie did Tokyo, I was like, oh, these guys, like, because I didn't, doing this, like joining the program and stuff, I had never done like any kind of proper running, to be honest. I kind of faffed about with running for the last few years, but never really focused on anything majorly. And so I was telling him about, there's like this 6-star medal thing, and it's the 6 major marathons. And he's like, right, well, I mean, I think you should do that. And I'm like, wait a second. He's like, it's great. Well, like, we can go. I've got work in Tokyo. Like, we can go there. Like, you've got family in Chicago, family in New York. Like, Berlin just around the corner. Like, it's not a problem. Like, and I'm like, okay, that's great, but I've actually got to run them.
Exactly. Be careful what you wish for.
So I'm like, I love your enthusiasm and support, but like, let's hold your horses for 1 second.
But I've got a different strategy this year. It's like I'm training once and I'm tapering twice. So this week, I'm starting marathon training. Who's like habit and then marathon block. And then I do a marathon, and then straight after the marathon I taper again for then the next marathon. So yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I like the strategy.
I'll see. I've never done that before, but
How
we were
much-
having a chat about this with James earlier, is the fact that sometimes just booking race because you fancy it can be quite distracting.
How much time have you got between the 2 marathons?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Chicago,
gosh,
8th of
super
Too much
October,
by
and New York
choice,
is
was it?
6th of November.
It wasn't too much by choice, was it, Sabrina? It was just the fact you got into 2 majors.
Well, you can't say no, really, right?
No, of course not. No, it's not
Yeah,
something.
but for example, Berlin was out of the question, right? Because otherwise it would have been too much.
Yeah, no, that would have been a bit too much. But yeah, going back to like the kind of just align and fall into your diary, and you just do them. And other times you book stuff because you want to. But for me, I did have a place for London just gone in April, because a big thing for me was to try and earn back my Good for Age spot. I did it, and then I chose not to do London, but that's also because our plans changed and I decided I didn't want to be doing long runs in Thailand. in ridiculous heat. So, you know, you can book stuff, you can plan stuff, but then things change. But again, you just have to, I'm very, probably like just very fickle, I'd say. Like some people have an exact plan and know what they want to do, but I kind of follow how I'm feeling and what I want to do. So it changes. I tend to just kind of do a race, see how I feel afterwards, and then decide what I want to do next. But again, you know, Berlin, I do want to train for Berlin. I'm excited for Berlin, but this is what James and I are doing next. But as well, it's kind of where we were meant to do it in 21, and then it's been pushed back, and we didn't want to do it last year because it would have been 6 days after the wedding. So I decided that wasn't a good idea.
I can't believe James is actually doing a marathon. Oh,
Yeah, I know, 2 as well.
exciting. Not just the training block, but let's hope for the actual race after that.
I
How
know.
did that come about? Because what I know of James is all he's ever talked about is how much he hates running marathons. What's made him decide to do 2? Just out of interest.
Well, again, because Berlin was like pushed back. So yeah, we were meant to both do it in 21, and then it's got pushed back to 23. And he just really fancied
right.
Valencia. So yeah, he's
His
gonna
enthusiasm.
yeah, I mean,
It's
I know.
his competitive spirit for Valencia. It's
Yeah.
because he's competitive. That's half the reason for that one, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about James when he's not here, but essentially, marathons are a lot. And, you know, James has trained for, like, unfortunately, James has not done a marathon probably to what he'd want to since we've been together. So we could probably blame me. But I think with James, sometimes it's just getting that last part of the race right. You know, he did Brighton, and I think Brighton, whether he will admit it or not, he was on, you know, on track for sub-3. He was running really consistently. And I think he didn't, nutrition wise, I don't think he fueled enough. Then he did Manchester, and I don't even know what went wrong in Manchester, but just didn't have a good time. And so that was quite funny because Sammy finished not far behind James in the end. And Sammy said to James, "Oh, thanks for waiting for me, James." And he was like, "I didn't wait for you, Sammy. I've only just finished." Sammy thought he was being kind and had waited for her. But yeah, he's just got a bit of a thing to overcome with the marathon. It's just
Unfinished business.
yeah, and do you know what? It's so unfortunate. The best marathon he's ever done was the race that was then deemed short. So he ran, I can't remember what year it was, but he had a really good race. He, you know, was overtaking people in the last 10K, did a negative split, and then I don't know how long after he ran 2:56, and then it got told it was short by 200 to 400 meters. So, you know, essentially it would have been, on the natural course, would have been 2:57.
What race was that?
Manchester Marathon.
Oh my gosh. I would
I have
be
a feeling
fuming.
that you going through James marathons and actually talking about it will end up in a very funny discussion on the podcast in a couple of weeks. Why are you talking about my marathon?
Yeah, I know. Hopefully he's not going to
Why am
watch
I talking about your marathon without you?
We love you, James. It's fine. It's all in good faith.
Yeah, no, this is nothing that he wouldn't say out loud to anyone anyway. But yeah, I think he's got a demon to crack with it, and it's just one of those things. It's just sometimes when you're pushing yourself to your limit, everything's just got to align on the day, and you've got to get everything right. But yeah, the last time he did a marathon was quite a few years ago. It's quite a few years ago now. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But
I have a question. I didn't put it ahead. I just had forgotten about the call until you say if anyone fancy joining something. Does anyone have any good tip for runner feet care?
feet care.
yeah, like I just want to go in the next 5-6 months with summer and everything and not have bits of nails missing or dry feet or
I think the first thing is just just have to suck it up to the fact that your feet are probably going to get a bit battered. That's the first thing. Yeah, but all jokes aside, it's just making sure that you've got the right shoes as well. Sometimes, you know, if your trainers are not the right size, they're gonna just ruin your feet. Like Natasha said, doing those like body gliding and Vaseline in your feet. Because I would always do it for race day, and then just kind of like, we kind of all forget with the long runs, you start to get a bit complacent with the long runs. So start treating your long runs like you would be going into a race. You know, you should be doing that every weekend anyway. So on Saturdays, you should be thinking about your fuel, your nutrition, getting your kit out, preparing yourself. It's not just, oh, I'll get up and go and do 10 miles, 12 miles. It's preparing for that as well. I don't know if anyone else, like sometimes can't control like losing toenails.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, training for London through last summer, I definitely used more Vaseline than I have ever used ever before. I mean, I don't use it normally, but my training runs, I definitely used it on the back of my heels, not so much around my toes, but definitely on the back of my heels. I've never really needed it before, but then I've never trained for a marathon through the summer before. And so it was very different to doing it through the winter, definitely.
Sammy's this made me laugh. Sammy's put dark nail polish.
That made me laugh as well.
That's very true.
I saw Natasha laughing when that popped up. I can tell that's what she was laughing at. Yeah, my toenails are always painted, because although I did notice last year, I'm not sure, I can't remember what shoes it was, but I think it was when I wore a lot of the like Alpha Flies a lot, that's what kind of, I went through a period of my feet getting quite beaten up, and I think it was the Alpha Flies. So yeah, sometimes it can be a style of shoe, but unfortunately it's just one of those things. It's like, you know, look after your feet if you can, but it's just one of those things that they're just going to get a bit beaten up. But as long as you have the right shoes and kind of glide up beforehand, you're going to prevent that.
Yeah, I usually
One
don't
other
have
thing-
blister or anything like this, and I do different type of lacing, so I don't have any problem with that. But it's just the nail polishing. Okay, I will carry on then.
The one thing that did
Makes sense.
help me, I did have a issue where I thought I was going to lose a toenail about halfway through the block. I started using, you can just buy them on Amazon, like the silicone like toe protectors. They're really, really attractive. But I just put one of those over that toe for like all of my long runs, and it completely saved it. It's all fine. It was like black. I was like, it's going to fall off, but it's gone back to what
So
it
do
should
you
look
have
like
one?
now.
Does one cover the whole
Yeah.
of the toes, or do you have
No.
individual ones?
Yeah, so I just literally used one for that one toe.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah.
I guess what we
Yeah,
also have to consider is with people's feet, you know, not to talk too much about feet because I'm not really a feet person, but like, you know, everyone's alignment of their feet. Like, do you know, some people's like second toes are like longer than their big toe. And so like, you know, some people are going to suffer differently with how their feet are formed, if that makes sense. But yeah, hopefully that helps you, Sabrina.
Yeah, for me it was the nails, so okay, there is no solution. I will just keep painting away. I just was hoping someone has a magical solution. The rest is fine, but it's just the toenails not the best. So okay, I will just keep painting away. Thank you.
Yeah. Sammy's put keep your toenails cut short too. So yeah, that can help. Look, Sammy's got experience. She cuts them and paints them dark. Amazing. Has anyone got anything else that they wanted to share about their training or how they're feeling at the moment? That hasn't already shared, but I've got about 10 more minutes if anyone's got anything they want to chat through. I feel like I had loads of stuff earlier that I was like, right, I'm going to come up with this. Talk
I
about
was
this.
just going to say, just talking about like Edinburgh coming up, and I think I said earlier today on the WhatsApp, I'm feeling really tired today. So I think paranoia may be setting in. But my only concern for Edinburgh is it's not going to have the same like atmosphere as London did. So I've done London a few years ago, and it's like, oh, I'm sort of not expecting it to be as exciting as London. So I don't know if anyone's ever done Edinburgh or.
I haven't, but there are some people that have done. Lynn did the half last year, right? And I think the first thing then with that is you then have to prepare yourself mentally that it's not going to be London. But also as well, Vanessa, you've probably done a lot of your training runs on your own. Without the crowds. So yeah, think about the mental tools that you use on your long training runs to get you through. So yeah, firstly, don't compare it to London. But I think Edinburgh still gets some really good support when you go through like the city centre and stuff. So you will get that, you will get patches of that. But yeah, it unfortunately nothing in the UK compares to the London Marathon. But yeah, I don't know if Lynn is there, if she's free, if she's got any tips on Edinburgh.
To be honest, I've had such a crappy couple of years that the training block is sort of, I'm not too worried about if it's going to be tough, because I don't think anything can be as tough as what I've had to deal with in the last couple of years. So that doesn't worry me too much. I think that's probably what's got me through this training block. It's just been, I've never not wanted to go out. That's been my escape recently. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, that's it then.
Great attitude.
Yeah, what do you want to get from the race, Vanessa, essentially? What do you want to get from race day?
I actually want to get a time. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I would really like to get a good for age time.
There you go. That's it now. You've just got to channel everything into it. What's going to help you get that? Just channel the mindset, do everything that you need to do in regards to tapering, and just put your all into that, and know that on the day, if at some point you go through a patch where it feels tough, you take your mindset back to good for age, and that's going to help get you through. So yeah, always, I've spoken about it before, but I did some mindset work back in 2019 because in the lead up to New York was really struggling, and I was just really upset that I was going into New York with that mindset, and I was like, something has to change. And yeah, did some mindset work, and it really transformed everything. And one of the questions was like, what do you want to get from race day? And as soon as I spoke through that kind of helped alleviate all of the stress, because at the time I was just putting pressure on personally getting a time when I'd already kind of done what I wanted to do at London. So I was like, well, why am I stressing about New York? Let's just go and enjoy it. And looking back on it, it was probably one of my, to have run as well as I did in the time that I did, having the fun that I did, was probably just because of that mindset work. So yeah, you just have to channel that now into the next few weeks. When I did my PB over the half marathon distance. I ran it terribly, and the fact that I went out far too fast in the first 10K. I remember probably like on another day, I probably would have just given up, I would have quit, but because I was going through for a time, I didn't stop. And I kept going and I kept going because that was all that was in my head and that was what I was focused on. I managed to do it, just paced it horrendously, but probably got through that last bit because that's all I was channeling and focusing on. If you go into the race being like, well, I'm hoping for good for age today and I'll see how I get on, you're not going to have that fight or fire. And you know, I hope she doesn't mind me saying it, but when Sammy first started with me, she came to me wanting good for age, and same thing, she took that into the race and channeled that into the race and did it and achieved it. And then, I mean, look at her now, she's, you know, that the time that she did on that marathon, she could run with her eyes closed now. But it's just about having that desire and want and taking that into the race, because if you go into it half-heartedly, like, oh, I'll try, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, it's more than likely not going to happen. So get behind yourself, Vanessa, back yourself, you have got this. And
thank you. Yeah,
no, you're
good.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good luck, Vanessa.
Did
Thank you
amazing
very much.
half as well. So
Yeah, no, I felt really strong at Milton Keynes. I think that probably was also because it was so flat. And yeah,
everyone
so-
Vanessa thinks that Milton Keynes is flat. How funny is that?
As everyone was saying about this hill at the end, I'm like, what? That's not a hill. That's a lump. You know, just a small lump.
Vanessa, was
Yeah.
it you that I saw Casey will confirm, there was a picture that I took, was that Vanessa in that photo? I think you used it for the reel. Do you remember? I feel like it was you, Vanessa. I'm sure I saw you running Milton Keynes and got a good photo
Yeah, there
of
was
you.
a photo, yeah, sort of in mid stride.
Yes, you looked very
that's
strong.
a good photo.
Very
Yeah,
strong.
no. Thank you.
I was
for
just cheering like randomly because I haven't like met a lot of people, and I was just like cheering anytime I saw a running hub fest, obviously. I think the first person I might have seen was, I think it was Andy, and I was like, he just looked at me as if they're like, who are you? I got very excited cheering everyone, and massive FOMO as
People
well.
saying, you know, go on running hub, and it's really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing now, the power of you guys and the community. I mean, James even said that in like naturally in Milton Keynes, we've got people that just know James and I will listen to the podcast. So, you know, we'll just cheer the running hub when they see the tops. But even in Manchester, James said that he was getting cheers, and like with the vests, it doesn't have the running hub massive on it, but it's just the white and the stripes. James was like, it's amazing. I got so many cheers from people that were just saying, go on the running hub or go on James. But again, it's lovely. So sometimes you have no idea who's cheering you on, whether they're actually from the hub or they're just a random person.
But
But
you
you're like,
had your kid,
Yeah.
Natasha. That's why it was really good, because like I wasn't like, then you were like cheering. I was like, what the hell is this? And I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, there's a lot of running clubs and sort of running communities with Milton Keynes, but most of them are very friendly and kind to cheer on other clubs at the same time. So yeah, it's nice that everyone could get those cheers. But yeah, hopefully that helps, Vanessa. Just go into it wanting it.
and
And
we're with you, and we all want to see your medal at the end. We're looking forward to seeing the
Oh,
picture.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. There'll be lots
You've got this.
Thank
Well,
you
at
very
fir-
much.
At first, we didn't think there was many people doing Edinburgh, but now there's quite a few people doing the half. As James says, most of the running hub plus as well are all Scottish at the moment. So it's like, it's so strange. So like at some point, Lynn's gonna have to set up a flagship for as one of our like original Scottish members. Lynn's gonna have to set up a new HQ up there or something.
I'll take that challenge on. It does feel like it's growing really nicely up here, actually. It's lovely. It'll be good
Yeah,
to go
no.
to Edinburgh and meet up with folk and cheer folk on. It'll be nice.
Yeah,
no,
it'd be good. Yeah, looking forward to it.
that's it. Good stuff. All right, team. Well, it's almost the end of the hour. So unless anyone's got anything they want to quickly chat through or any questions, lovely to catch up with you all again.
And you look
Yeah.
lovely, by the way, like this, Katie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. A
Yeah,
few-
can you not come on camera with that tan again, please? Because it's not nice.
I don't even feel tan. You should see James.
Trust me, you're tanned.
I think it's also the lighting because I'm really not. But this is a lot of it's all just running.
I
Like,
thought you were going to say a lot of it's fake. Like
Oh.
road fake tan.
no, we
Oh, right,
haven't.
fair play. Appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, no, last week we were able to, we did have a bit of downtime, so we're able to sort of sit outside in the sun. But this week I haven't actually like just sat and sunbathed. This has all just been from outdoor running. But yeah, no one will recognise James when we get home. They'll be like, who's that?
Oh, it's me this time next week. I'll be out in the sun, hopefully.
Oh, love it. Yeah, lots of people are booking holidays and trips. It's that time of year now. So yeah, go away, relax, Natasha. Just enjoy it. Deserve it.
I will try.
I'm always in favour of a holiday post a big race. But yeah, let me just have a look what time. So next week, Coaches Hour is 7 o'clock on Thursday next week. So hopefully see lots of you there. But yeah, thanks for this evening, team. Thanks for all your
Thanks
kind
very
words.
much.
Great to see you all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and you
Thanks,
guys,
Katie.
very much.
Thanks.
Bye now.